president says he takes hydroxychloroquine. Is this a good idea in your opinion?
What the president is doing is taking a medication that for an indication that we have no idea if it works for that or not. Hydroxychloroquine is a drug that I'm very familiar with. It has another name, Plaquenil. It's used to treat lupus and it's used to treat malaria, especially in places where there's still chloroquine-sensitive malaria. And it is a drug that has many uses, and it's a good drug. It does have its side effects, though, so we only use prescription medication when we know that the benefits are going to outweigh the risks. And the public needs to know the risks of hydroxychloroquine are not trivial. And they start with effects on the heart. So it can interfere with the electrical conduction system of your heart, which is how the rhythm of your heart is generated. And some people could get very dangerous heart arrhythmias, abnormal heart rhythms, which could even get serious enough for somebody to have a sudden cardiac death. The drug is toxic to the heart muscle itself. It also has myriad other side effects in certain people. Some people will have suppression of their bone marrow, so they can wind up with more immunocompromised state because their own bone marrow is not making the cells that it needs to make. There's toxicity to the eye. Long-term use of hydroxychloroquine can cause macular degeneration and retinal toxicity. So it's really no joke. It's a good drug when it's indicated and when the benefits are going to outweigh the risk. We have no good evidence that it does anything at all in COVID-19. In fact, there's a very real study that's very concerning that was done in our own veteran population with credible investigators from Virginia and South Carolina. And what they found is when hydroxychloroquine was used in veterans with COVID-19, they actually had a higher rate of death, a higher rate of death, and no improvement in whether or not they would need a ventilator compared to people who weren't getting hydroxychloroquine. Yeah. That study has limitations, okay? It wasn't a huge study, and it's retrospective. It's not a double-blind, randomized, prospective, controlled trial. But those kind of trials are actually being done. So the National Institute of Health is sponsoring a number of those. One just got started recently in San Diego. They're using the umbrella of the AIDS clinical trial researchers to study 2,000 people prospectively that have COVID-19, people that aren't sick enough to be in the hospital, but that are sick. And they're either going to get hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, which is another antibiotic, or they're going to get 2 placebo pills. And they're going to monitor those folks going forward to see if this combination could possibly prevent hospitalization or death. So that just got started. There's another trial that's going on with the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, and more that I'm not even able to rattle off. So we are going to get data. And I imagine it's going to be a matter of weeks and maybe months, but we'll have real solid information. Until that happens, I do not recommend that people take this drug.